Hey y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the lighting. Like my other tripod is like just acting weird. So I'm sorry if like the lighting is like off or whatever, and I had to get like my old tripod. Anyway, Sutton, you really, oh my gosh, like Sutton, this is why, this is why it's so hard as a black woman to sometimes befriend white women, like truly and honestly, because you really at the end of the day don't really know how they feel. You spent all this time with Garcelle, and this is still, well, we gonna get there. I'm sorry y'all, I'm hungry like I said on my last video, so I probably should have ate my cookie first, but this is not a ad, but these archway cookies are fire. Like, they're so damn good. They're soft as hell. So excuse me, I didn't eat all day, and I know that's terrible because it's a cookie, but who gives a fuck? I'm hungry. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, so this episode, to be quite honest, it was a little, it was mid. It was mid until the end. And then the end like thoroughly pissed me off because the fuck? The fuck? Let me put my cookie down. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I'm really being a whole fat ass. I'm hungry. Actually, I'm really hungry. Hold on. All right, cool. I'm still hungry, but I was able to get that down. Let's get to it. All right. So, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, episode 2, season, I don't remember, 11, 12. Who cares? Next. Okay, so Sutton comes over to Erica's house, okay? Erica is getting ready and all this stuff. I also want to say that I seen on Twitter that they said that the last, like this last little scene when they at the Lake Tahoe was filmed October 28th. And Erica filed for divorce November 3rd. I say, okay, so I need to go back and watch Body Language. Okay, so anyway, so like I said, Sutton came over to Erica's house because Erica's getting ready to go to Lake Tahoe. Sutton pretty much tells her about, how she moved out of her old house because it was, like the house that she lived in with her husband. And so she's about to build her own house, all of this other good shit. Awesome. Moving on. Kyle and Garcelle. Now, see, do y'all expect me to get a little loud? I ain't going to get too loud. I ain't going to get too hype about the whole situation. Because I'm going to say this. In this moment, well, we're going to get to it. All right. So, look. So, Kyle and Garcelle sat down together, okay? Kyle talked about, I thought that me and you were cool, I thought I was really inviting to you. I thought I was really nice. And then, it just felt like you had an issue with me. Garcelle was like, I did feel like, in the beginning you was very nice. You was very open. She said, but I've told you, that after a while, I feel like you just kind of glossed over me. I feel like you never really truly got to know me. You didn't really go out of your way to get to know me. And I felt like I pretty much wasn't heard, by you or anything like that. And she said, but honestly, all of that to the side, that's my dog in there sleeping. I'm snoring, if that's what y'all hear. Just to let y'all know in case y'all hear it. But she was like, but to be quite honest, like what really set it off for me that like we just can't be cool is the whole thing about the charity. And then of course they flash back. I've brought this up if y'all watch my reviews, and y'all know when that happened. If you want to be thoroughly entertained by me and really see, if y'all really want to see me like go off, go back and watch my Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion review. When they got to this whole point about Kyle bringing up the fact that Garcelle didn't pay for the charity thing, girl, I went off, and I'm not going to do it again, but I went off and I let have. And everything that Garcelle said in this moment is exactly what I said in that video. It's the truth of the matter. It's the truth. So, Garcelle was like, I really looked into that. And after looking into it, it was because they pretty much sent it to like the wrong address. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I just dipped and dodged and tried to not pay. Like, the wrong address was put down. It was an old address of mine. And so, Kyle, and this is Kyle. At one point, Kyle tried to put like some. She was like, "Oh, well, I'm not the one that handles the money or anything like that. But I wouldn't have said that if we was in a better place." So, like I said, so you did do it to be mean, to be malicious, to try to make a point. What your point was to make her look bad. Just be real about that, because that's pretty much what you were saying without saying it. You said I wouldn't have said it if we was in a better place. Now, Garcelle says to her, would you have done that if it was one of the other white women? And of course, Kyle's like, what? Oh my gosh, no. And this is the way I look at it. I'm pretty sure Garcelle's look at it the same way. Kyle, there was a lot of things that you could have said about Garcelle. I mean, there were so many things that you could have pointed out about Garcelle. I mean, I still probably would have went in half, but there was a lot of different things you could have said. You could have stuck on your point of, well, you know what, Garcelle, you didn't give me the chance to get to know. Not to say everything I'm about to say is true, but you could have said, Garcelle, you didn't give me the chance to know you. Oh, Garcelle, I tried to be, there was just so many other things that you could have picked to say about Garcelle, but you particular, and especially when during that segment, I said I wasn't going to get mad, but I'm sorry, I got mad again. During that segment, nobody brought up the charity. Not one fucking person brought up the charity. The conversation was about why you and Garcelle did not get along. You threw that in there to embarrass her. Point blank, period. You did it to embarrass her, and you did it to discredit her, which is, you know what, a lot of that's what y'all do to each other anyway. But like she said, you don't pick that in particular with a black woman to try to sit out there and point out. You don't do that. And Garcelle explained very eloquently and nicely why you don't. She said, at the end of the day, Kyle, because this is what I said too, you're perpetuating stereotypes that black people don't pay. They don't want to pay. They're cheap. They do all of this stuff, which is exactly what I said. And Kyle was like, oh my gosh, like, no, I would never think that. I would never think that. And Garcelle said, because you don't have to. Hello, you don't have to, which is exactly, now that I think about it, that's exactly what Crystal said at the end. Crystal said to Sutton, because you don't have to. That is the privilege. Oh my gosh, I'm getting mad again. That is the privilege of you being a white woman. You don't have to think about stuff like that. You don't have to. Unless it affects you, you don't have to think about shit like that. But you should. You should. Because like Garcelle said, people in Beverly Hills, y'all live such in your own bubble, specifically white women. Y'all live in such your own white freaking bubble. Own bubble. That y'all don't ever think about anything outside of that. Bring it down a couple notches, Jalissa, because now you're getting really, really upset. And Kyle's not worth you getting that upset about. It's just not, okay? Like Garcelle said, you saying stuff like that at the end of the day can fuck up her reputation. And Garcelle brought up a really, really poignant point. She brought up tips. She said, I went to a restaurant, and the server, he wasn't really paying no attention to me. He was helping everybody else but me. He had to go through somebody else for that person to come and help me. Now, when it was time for the tip, did I want to tip him? Absolutely not, because the service was terrible. However, if I don't tip, they're going to say, well, black people don't tip anyway. She wasn't going to do it anyway. And that's the conundrum. And I love the fact that Garcelle said this. It's the small things like that as black people, we have to think about that for you, it ain't even a thought. It's something like tipping. You ain't going to even think about it. It's not that big of a deal if you don't tip. It's because you ain't like the service. See, if you don't tip somebody, it's just going to be, oh, well, obviously we did something wrong. It's not going to be, oh, because Kyle can't afford to. Oh, because Kyle is cheap. It ain't going to be. That's not what it's going to be. And that's all Garcelle was trying to say, is that you have to watch some of the things that you say in regards to me as a black woman, because it's going to be taken completely different from other people than what you think it will be. You know what I mean? So Kyle said that she understood, and, and Garcelle said, a lot of times, people in Hollywood and Beverly Hills, they'll ask you, oh, where you get your purse from? Where you get that shoe from? Where you get that bag from? But they don't ask you, what is it like for you to be a black person in Hollywood? And she said, and I wish people would ask me that. And I feel like that's part of what Garcelle was talking about, because she even said later, no, it wasn't her that said that. Ebony said on the Real Housewives of New York, she said when Heather came in, Heather actually asked her about herself. She said, which is something that these other women don't do. And I think that's what Garcelle was saying. Like, you don't want to have a real conversation. You want to have a real surface conversation. And if we going to be friends, especially as a white woman, if you really trying to be my friend as a black woman, And especially, I know the type of privilege and bubble that you come from. We need to be having deeper conversations, like about some real shit. And you're not asking me about that. I don't know if it's because you're scared, you don't know how to ask, but ask and I will tell. If you ask, we gonna tell you. Just ask respectfully, but we gonna tell you, okay? And it's like, I want to like Kyle. I really, really, really do. As much as I go in on Kyle, I want to like her, but she makes it so hard. She just makes it so damn hard for me. So let's keep going. So then, we go to Crystal. We learn a little bit about Crystal and her upbringing, immigrant parents, really good in school and stuff. And then, she goes on to running down her husband's resume, because that's who we like. That's where she really get her money from, is her husband, okay? So Lion King, Stuart Little, what else he did? He did a whole lot of stuff, whole lot of movies, because of course he's part of Disney. And in my notes, I'm like, well, girl, you running out his resume, but like, what about yours? Like, what's your resume? And if you don't have a resume outside of just, if all you want to do is raise your kids and that's it, ain't no wrong with that, girl. But I just want to know more about you, Crystal, like, and less about your husband, because I can look up your husband's resume. But if you want to be on this show, girl, I want to know more about you. And I feel like for her introduction, she more so explained about her husband than she did about herself. So that's the only thing I was like, okay. She do come off a little elitist, a little bougie, just a tad bit bougie to me, like a little, like I said before, she comes up very, very, very bougie. That's how she comes off. She's very fucking bougie. She got a 9,000 square foot home, which in all reality really isn't that bad. Like, that's really big, but it's not like so big that it's like, what the hell do you got all of this room for? You know what I mean? She got 2 kids. Her brother is staying with her, who's actually like a pop star over in China, but he's been staying with them since COVID. And she said, my housekeeper, she really much runs this shit. She runs all of this shit. Here for it. Love the housekeeper. Housekeeper's hilarious. So then we get ready to go on a Lake Tahoe trip. Okay. Actually, this is actually going to be a really short episode too, because not much happened this episode except at the very end. They get ready, at first it's just Renna and Garcelle that's there. And of course, Garcelle is like, oh my gosh, bitch, I'll take Kyle first. I said, oh, that's how you know it's bad. Because sis says she'll take Kyle before she take Lisa Renna. So everybody comes and stuff. Kathy Hilton is coming, okay? Y'all know Kathy's going to be a friend of the show. If y'all didn't watch, I want to recommend something to y'all. If y'all did not watch Paris Hilton's documentary, I would really much so implore y'all to do so. It made me look at Kathy. Granted, I don't know shit about Kathy Hilton, but it definitely made me side-eye Kathy Hilton like, girl. Like, watch it. It's on YouTube. It's for free. It is on YouTube. All you got to do, literally type in Paris Hilton documentary, and it'll come up on YouTube. It's for free. It's very interesting. It will definitely make you look at Kathy Hilton like, all right, girl. Side-eyeing the hell out of you. Okay, but anyway, so Kathy Hilton is there. She says she's never went on all girls trips before. She's only ever went on trips with her husband, So then we get to the Airbnb. Now they got something. I didn't even know they got something called Airbnb. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up right now. They got something called Airbnb Lux. I guess because I'm too poor, so I would never know that there's a thing called Airbnb Lux. Ooh, okay. Luxury villa and vacation rentals. Ew. Oh, they really do have an Airbnb Lux. That's so fucking dope. Okay, so now I know next time when I go somewhere, this is the fuck I'm gonna do. Oh, these houses are beautiful. Bitch, hold on. Look at this house in Costa Rica. Look at this house in Costa Rica. Hold on. Y'all see that house? The house is beautiful. Okay. All right. So anyway, so they did an Airbnb Lux. Okay. This is probably one of the nicest houses I've seen, like, on the Real Housewives franchise. It was fucking beautiful. 17 bedrooms, 18 baths. I said, let me call my girls. We about to go on the trip real soon. About to be real, fake rich, okay? I would love to do something like that. The house is beautiful, okay? I found it hilarious that they was like, so there's nobody here to bring our bags down. Like, we got to do that ourselves. And they're like, yeah, girl, it's COVID. You ain't got no choice. So they all bring their bags down. I thought that was funny. Kyle and Kathy, they in the room kind of talking, and Kyle's talking about, how she's happy that they've rekindled their, sisterhood and stuff. And if y'all don't know, Kathy and Kyle for a while didn't speak because, and they if you go back and watch like all of the previous seasons of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you'll see how like this kind of came up even with her and Kim. Cal was, I don't know if she actually did the show, if it actually aired, but she was doing the show about their childhood, right? And Cal's childhood was like, it was kind of messy and stuff like that. And Kathy Hilton didn't really appreciate a lot of the stuff that Cal put in the series, so that kind of like, caused the rift between them. But they was able to fix it and they're cool now. So then we get downstairs and Kyle says she cooking. Kyle talk about I'm cooking. Kyle did not really cook. She had that black woman over there really doing everything for her. But all right, fine. The little joke keep coming up that Kathy keeps thinking that Garcelle is Kyle. Girl, you are blind as hell. They gonna say, oh yeah, look at Kyle or whatever. Kyle was talking to Garcelle. She was like, yeah, because the long black hair, the long dark hair just looks so much like me. I said, girl, let's be real. She black and you ain't. This is a whole black woman. Do I look like a black woman to you? I know I'm married to a Mexican, but do I look like I'm a black woman to you, Kathy? No, I do not. You need to get your glasses fixed, okay? So Kyle went and burned the damn salmon talking about some is black, and girl, it was burnt like Erica said, okay? Then Sutton brought gifts again. I'm like, why I'm not around when Sutton bring gifts? I want a nice gift. She brought a gift when she came to see Erica. And they're flask of their flask or whatever. And so Crystal, when her friend, she was like, I've never had a flask before, and like I've never used it. I'm like, you are so fucking bougie, Crystal. Like super bougie. Crystal gives me, now that I think about it, Crystal gives me like OG first season of like Real Housewives. Like just those girls, like when Real Housewives first started, it really was just simply about like these rich ass women who just did nothing but they just chilled at home because they was just like rich, or like their husbands is rich. Like that's just what she gives me. She gives me like a true, like what the true housewife was supposed to be. Just very fabulous, very lavish, very bougie as hell, okay? So then they go and they play the game 2 truths and 1 lie. That wasn't really fun. I mean, we found out Crystal was a phone operator for an escort agency. Erica said like 3 different things, but she didn't tell us which one was the lie. I don't understand. Now, a lot of people say that Erica, that she's not very open. Like, she doesn't really talk about her life like that. She's not a very open person, which I can see that, but I don't know why. I feel like, although I cannot articulate why Erica is like that, I'm kind of the same way too. Like, I'm a very, very guarded person. Like, unless I know you, I'm not about to really sit up here and tell you about all my business and my life and my backstory and stuff like that. Like I don't know why she's like that. I'm going to assume maybe from like her childhood and maybe past stuff that's happened. But I vibe with her on that level because I'm the same way too. So once they're all done with that, Garcelle gets up and she goes in a room to go to talk to Lisa, and she's just like, I just wanted to be clear, because Sutton talking about you think that we're good. And she said, I feel like at the dinner that we had, it was just you pretty much talking. And I didn't really get to express how I felt. And the way I felt is that you was a shitty friend to Denise. You were. You was a shitty friend to me. You were. And, like, how can I know at the end of the day, like, to trust you? You know what I mean? She was like, how am I supposed to know to trust you? And Garcelle brought up a good point, too. She was like, as a black woman, a lot of times we are always seen as angry. And I would like to say, on my YouTube channel itself, I have had so many people in my comments tell me, you're just so angry. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Let me put this on the out front. When I be yelling and ranting and raving, I'm not really mad. Because to be quite honest, I could give 2 fucks about any of these women. They don't pay my bills. They don't do any of that. But for entertainment value, for the people who watch my YouTube content to be engaged, I have to be engaging as well. So if I just sit here and be like, yeah, I think that was wrong what Kyle did, I mean, she shouldn't have said that. That wasn't cool. All right, next topic. Nobody will watch my shit. That's not how this go. And so I feel Garcelle when she was like, and even when I am angry, like she said, as a black woman, even when you have to be careful with how much you're even emoting any type of anger, because you're gonna automatically be placed as the angry black woman. When a lot of times it's not anger, it's passion. And even if it is anger, why can't I be angry? White women go around this country all the time. I just woke up this morning on Twitter and seen boo hoo fucking trending because of the white woman in the damn airport losing her damn mind because she tried to run through a restricted area, and now she's out there acting a damn fool because they handled her the way that they supposed to handle her. You get what I'm saying? saying? Like, so, but we're just now getting to the point where we can I don't want to say stereotype, but put a label on angry white women, which is Karen. And even then, they're not even really like penalized for it, to be quite honest. Not the way that I am if I get angry. Period. And I'm gonna use for an example. When I was in college, right? I was the only black girl on my floor. The only black girl on my entire floor in my dorm room, right? And there was so many times, because the first half of me being at college, the first semester, I lied to y'all not. The girl that lived in the next room, like the dorm next to me or whatever, she would come home drunk. She would be so messed up, like so drunk to the point that my actual roommate, because she was friends with her, would have to get up in the middle of the night at like 1, 2 in the morning to help carry her upstairs. And I'm talking about I'm going to say maybe the first 3 months of school, because that's when people was really getting like hard, because, you know, first time people being out of the house and stuff and being away from their parents. It was every single night. And I used to say, now, if I get up and I come out this floor and I start snapping, I'm going to be the angry black girl. It's not going to be, oh, she's tired and she wants to get sleep and she has class and work tomorrow. It's going to be, oh my gosh, she's just so angry. Oh my gosh, why is she yelling? Oh my gosh. As black women, a lot of times we are not given the space or the range to be angry without somebody trying to tell us something negative about ourselves. So I feel Garcelle on that. So she's talking to Lisa, whatever, and she says to Lisa, this is the crazy part, right? Garcelle says, Lisa, how am I supposed to know? Like, how am I supposed to open up to you and be real with you and stuff if I'm not too sure at the end of the day that it might backfire on me? How do I know that what I tell you, you're not going to end up using against me later, pretty much? Lisa's like, I can't promise you that. What? And Garcelle was like, well, I can promise you that. I can tell you right now, if you was to sit up here and open your heart to me and tell me stuff, I would never use that against you. That's why Lisa is a trash ass friend. Lisa Rinna is nobody's friend. She is friends out of convenience. She's not. For you to sit in front of somebody and tell them that you want them to be more open with you, but you can't promise them that if y'all get into a tiff, you're not going to throw that back in their face. Why the fuck would I ever want to be friends with you, Lisa? Get Lisa Rinna off my damn screen. I'm so tired of her. My goodness. Like, who does that? So then this is the ending. How much time we got left here? 22 minutes. Awesome. So I can get this out without overdoing it. Alrighty. Because I had to run this conversation back like 3 times because I needed to write down specifically what was said, how it was said, and get everything that was said. Okay. So we have, although all of the girls go upstairs except Sutton, Crystal, and Kyle, because Kyle really liked the way Crystal made drinks, right? So Kyle is like, I'm glad that me and Garcelle could actually get along and have a good time and stuff. And, so she tells them about, the conversation that they had. Now, Sutton says Garcelle is cool pretty much, like if you come and you talk to her, cool. But she's not going to be cool if you just come at her and you come for her. Now, Kyle says, you need to stop right there, Sutton. Stop right there, because previous to the whole thing about the charity, I never did anything to Garcelle. Well, Garcelle obviously told you, Kyle, that that's not true. And this is where my issue comes in with Kyle. Kyle really gets, oh my gosh, she really gets on my nerves. Kyle, Garcelle just sat there and explained to you why previous to the charity thing she felt some type of way. And this is what Garcelle means when she says you're not listening. She already told you. She said to you, I feel like you glossed over me. You didn't pay any attention to me. That I just wasn't even there in your peripheral. I wasn't there. So if she explained that to you, why would you then go back to Sutton and say, well, I didn't do anything? You might feel like you didn't do anything. That's what you need to say. You need to say, up to that point, I didn't feel like I did anything wrong. But Garcelle has already expressed to you 4 or 5 times what it is that she felt. So all of that, oh, well, stop, because I didn't do anything. Cut the shit, Kyle. She already explained to you what you did, okay? Then Crystal was like, okay, well, did you regret what you said? And Kyle was like, I mean, at first, no, I didn't regret it, all the way up until she explained to me, like, what it was, and, she explained to me, about black people and being stereotypes and stuff like that. And, like, I wouldn't have known any of that. I find that hard to believe, Kyle. I'm sorry. I find it hard to believe that you've never in your life heard this stereotype I just find that hard to believe. Maybe that wasn't your intention, Kyle, but I find that very hard to believe that you do not know any of the stereotypes surrounding black people. I just find that hard to believe. I'm sorry, I do. It is what it is. So Sutton is like, I understood what Garcelle was coming from, but I didn't think that would, like, how that you meant that or anything. She's like, see, no, I didn't mean that at all. Like, that's not my intention or anything. So Crystal was like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm gonna talk as the non-white person here, okay? When you hear stereotypes, it can hurt you to the point to where you can't really see anything else. You can't really see anything else that somebody's trying to say, or you even want to hear it. Now, Sutton cuts her off in the middle of a non-white person, okay, explaining how stereotypes affects non-white people. Sutton comes in and cuts her off and says, no, I'm not doing this. And Crystal's like, you're not doing what? And Sutton was like, I'm not doing the whole stereotype thing, okay? I'm not doing that. And Crystal, similar to what Garcelle said earlier, is, well, because it's easy for you not to. What you mean? What do you mean? Because I was confused on what she meant when she said, I'm not doing the whole stereotype thing. And Sutton kind of leans in, and first she was like, that's why. Do you see? This is why. And it gave me very MAGA vibes. It gave me very, you see this? You see the way that they act? This is why I don't. Because look at how they act. That's what it was giving, Sutton. Not saying that's what you said, but that's what it was very much so giving. And then she leaned in and she was like, do you want to know why? I would have punched Sutton in her face if she would have leaned into me like that, just being pretty honest. And she was like, damn it, I lost my point. Here we at. Where we at? Yeah, she was like, Sutton was like, this is why. She was like, because I see dumb rednecks on the TV all the time, but and people think that that's supposed to represent me, but it doesn't. So I don't bring up racial stereotypes because I'm well traveled and I'm well educated. So I don't bring all of that stuff up. And Crystal's like, that is insanity. Like, are you? And she ended it pretty much was like, so are you the I don't see color girl? Like, is that who you are? That's who you are. And I had to run back the conversation a couple times because I was really trying to get like what Sutton was getting at when she said it. But after watching it like the second or third time, I got it. And I got what Crystal was saying. This is the whole thing, girl. This is the whole thing, Sutton. I'm gonna put it like this. It's like, okay, just because you may not bring up stereotypes, or you may not necessarily, want to entertain them, or whatever the hell the case may be, it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect people. It doesn't affect other people. And also, more importantly, you cannot compare a white stereotype to any other ethnicity stereotype. It don't work like that. There is no freaking comparison. Even when it comes to like Asian or black people, it don't work that way. So my thing is like, are you saying, like, when Crystal was like, so what are you saying? You don't see color? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Sutton, so are you pretty much saying, are you one of those people that say, like, if you don't talk about racism, the only reason why racism is still a thing is because we talk about it? Because that's the vibes that you're giving me, Sutton. And at the end of the day, it don't work like that. The stereotype of being a redneck is much different. It's much different than black people, because that's the thing. That's a specific type of white person normally that we're talking about. And to be quite honest, you could be a redneck and still get something over me as a black woman. You could come in as a dumb red hick, whatever the hell you want to call it. You can come in as a stereotypical redneck and you would still probably get the job over me simply because I'm black and all the stereotypes that comes with that. You cannot sit up here and compare a white stereotype to a black stereotype or to an Asian, because a lot of times, let's be real, white stereotypical things, it don't hinder you from getting into certain places. It don't hinder you the same way. And it's not even historically made as big of a thing as it is for somebody that's black. I don't get it, Sutton. Like, I don't understand. And what really makes me frustrated more than anything, like I said, is this right here is why it's hard for black women to really truly be friends with white women. And this is why a lot of times that whole feminist movement, we don't align with that shit. We don't, because see, we have to deal with not just being women, but black on top of that. And feminists, specifically white feminists, want to act like, as a black woman, I'm just supposed to completely erase the black part. It don't work like that. And I know Garcelle felt some type of way sitting back and watching this, because it's like, how could you spend all of this time with Garcelle, right? And y'all are so close, but you still don't fucking get it. You still don't fucking get it. She want to say, oh, well, what are you trying to say, that I don't get it because I'm a Southern white girl? To a degree, yes. To a degree, yes. And that's not even being that's not stereotyping you or anything like that. What is this? Not stereo. Is that the word? It's not trying to say that you're stereotypical, but it's just being the fact that in the South, okay? In the South, and you're a white woman, there's a certain culture that you're raised around. It doesn't even really have to do anything with being stereotypical. It's really just the culture. It's the culture. And all you're doing, Sutton, honestly and truly, is just feeding into, if you want to call it a stereotype, go ahead, do that. But you're feeding into it. You're feeding into it by, number one, cutting off somebody who is non-white, explaining to you how stereotypes can actually harm someone. That's number one. And then number two, like she said, coming off from this perspective of like, oh, well, I don't bring stereotypes up because we're all really well educated and it's 2021 and it's not that big of a deal. Stereotypes to this day hurt Black people, hurt Asian people, hurt Mexican people. It don't hurt white people the same way. And I really wish y'all would understand that. Nobody is saying that it never happens, that rednecks isn't a stereotype and being blonde and dumb isn't a stereotype. But the way that it affects you in society is different. It's different. It's not the same thing. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to keep getting loud, but it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. If y'all was to step outside of y'all bubble for all of 2 seconds, Kyle steps out. I don't get how, Kyle, you have a Mexican ass husband and you still don't get it. You don't get it. I don't understand, Sutton, how you can spend all of that time with Garcelle and you still don't get it. I don't understand how Drew Brees has been a quarterback in the city of New Orleans for his whole damn career and still don't get it. It is mind-boggling to us. It is really mind-boggling because it's like you're being willfully ignorant. That's the most annoying part. You are all being willfully ignorant. Willfully ignorant, girl. Sutton, it's obvious who you voted for. Obvious, because all of the points that you was making is the stuff that I see MAGA Twitter say all the time. If you didn't talk about it, I mean, y'all bring it up so much. It really gave me, the only reason racism is a thing is because y'all keep bringing it up. That's what it gave me, Sutton. And I'm so disappointed. I am so disappointed, Sutton, because I really, really, really wanted to like you. And I did. But like somebody said on Twitter, that stand card is now revoked. It's revoked. You cannot compare the two. Are you serious? I said, oh, y'all, every time I come on here and say I'm not going to scream, they get me yelling because it's frustrating. Because white people, and they like, and of course not all white people, but like willfully ignorant white people really bother the shit out of me. Because start talking about, it's 2021. Yeah, it's 2021. So there's something called Google. Okay? And you being willfully ignorant is very much so annoying. Nobody is saying that you have to give in to the stereotypes, but what we're saying is that being stereotyped as a Black person is different. It is different. It is different. It's different. It doesn't affect you the same way it